probably have a meeting like that, but you don't have nobody out. I'm opening the meeting.
Oh, really? It was always
You ready? Whenever you're ready, she's ready.
Thank you.
Yeah, Wes is dad.
Bert?
He's telling me Wes, he goes, what y'all want? You know, I got
You getting home ready tonight? Good afternoon. Welcome to the St. Martin Parish Council Joint Committee Meeting Tuesday, May 19, 2026 at 4:30 in the Carol J. Fugely Meeting Room of the St. Martin Parish Government Annex Building. Please silence all cell phones and remove all hats. The public may comment upon any item which requires a vote by the St. Martin Parish Council. We ask that you fill out a request to speak form located in the back of the room. Once completed, you can bring it to the sheriff deputy who will give it to me. Because tonight we have we've got a lengthy agenda and we have some topics coming up. We're gonna limit tonight, and we do it at every meeting, but tonight we're gonna try to limit every speaker that comes up to 5 minutes. If what we're talking about we need extra time and stuff, as long as we're staying on the subject, we can grant extra time to finish what we're discussing. We just ask that when you come up just don't repeat the same thing as the other person just said. If you come and anything that you have, direct it to the council. It's not an exchange between the audience, and keep just keep it very calm and direct everything to the council. Mr. Melison's excused. I would like to call the meeting to order with a prayer led by Council Clerk Ms. Brick Thibodeau.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today, asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Amen.
Amen. Ms. Ortiz, will you lead us in the pledge?
Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1, members of the Hospital Service District Number 2 Board to provide an overview of the hospital affairs.
Thank you.
Mr. Dupuy.
My name is Burton Dupuy. I'm the CEO of St. Martin Hospital. The hospital was created in 1967, and believe it or not, it was called St. Martin Hospital. And the reason why it became Gary Memorial is 2 weeks after the election to create the district was approved, Charles Gary was the individual who had spurred the creation of the district, passed away. And so we changed the name. The Board of Commissioners decided to change the name to Gary Memorial Hospital. Well, in 2000, when we became an affiliate of Lafayette General, we changed the name back to St. Martin Hospital. Small hospitals were very successful from 1967 to 85. In 85, HIPAA was brought in, a Health Insurance Patient Privacy Act. It changed the Medicare reimbursement, and so small hospitals became very vulnerable to the reimbursement. In 1992, St. Luke Hospital Service District Number 1, which covered Orneville, Cecilia, and Henderson, closed. St. Martin Infirmary, closed. Rain Branch, closed. Today, they project that between 350 and 400 small hospitals have closed since 1985 throughout the country. We've been very fortunate. In 1994, we made a visit to Lourdes and Lafayette General, and Lafayette General said, "We think we can help you." And the first thing they did, they placed an LTAC at our facility, which meant they leased 12 rooms from us and they paid us lease. So what we were doing is collecting money from empty beds. That got us started. In 2000, we became an official affiliate of Lafayette General. We were the first. Chester Cedars wrote the affiliation document for Lafayette General. That same document's been used in Kaplan to do the same thing. Then in 2009, we were offered by Lafayette General to lease our facility, and we put it on the ballot, and the Public and Hospital Service District Number 2 approved it, and so Lafayette General leases the facility. The board collects the rent. We're responsible for property insurance and general liability, and so those monies stay with the district. What they've done, what's happened to us, when we began the journey in 1992, we had a hospital and one physician's office building. Today, we have a hospital and 10 physician office buildings. And so the building, we basically have a new facility, new 24 beds, the rooms are 24 rooms are new. We have a new outpatient entrance, a new, the old ER entrance. What we did, which helped us create a better environment for us, we created three separate entrances. So if you go to the ER, you go into ER, and you have an ER parking lot. If you go to inpatient, you go to inpatient entrance, you have an inpatient parking lot. Outpatient, you have an outpatient entrance and a parking lot. So our facility is very simple to use. It's used throughout St. Martin Parish, and we've been very successful so far. So what we hope is that as long as we have General with us, we see the future being very good. Any questions?
Any questions from the council? Mr. Alexander?
Yes, sir. Mr. Burton, could you tell me why the small hospitals fall in the area where they had to close down?
Here's what happened. Prior to 1985, if you filed a Medicare bill, you got paid 100%. And all the local doctors were general practitioners. General practitioners, what they did was they had office practices, but they also did minor surgeries, appendectomies, tonsillectomies, gallbladder. They did orthopedic, they put casts on arms. When that happened, and I should have said this, between 85 and 87 in St. Martin Parish, we lost 7 physicians. The 3 in Orneville retired, Morrow, and Weinstein. In Brobridge, Morrow and Young retired. In St. Martinville, DeMaye and Corn retired, okay? We lost 7. What helped us is we had 3 people return to us in Brobridge. Kim LeBlanc, Morel Young, and Warren Diggiter. But they were family practitioners. Family practitioners treat out of their office, okay? They're primary care docs. You go there and you need let's say you need an appendix removed. You go into a general surgeon. You follow what I'm saying? So the practice changed. What HIPAA did, not only did it change the reimbursement, it changed the way you practice medicine. That's what happened. And these small facilities lost their doctors. Like we had 7 in St. Martin Parish retire in 2 years. That killed Orneville. If you're from Orneville, that killed them. And the worst thing they did in Orneville, I shouldn't say this, but they hired a doctor. And they gave him a guaranteed salary. Didn't work. Why work? I'm getting paid, you know? And they made a mistake. So in 92, you know, they also they renewed a millage after the hospital closed. I'll never forget that. I never questioned that, but that shouldn't have done. It happened. But throughout the country, that's what happened. And you see, Today, your primary care doc, all he does, well, he sees you, whatever you want to be treated for, but if you need to see someone else, he refers you to a specialty guy, either cardiac or somebody like that, orthopedic. You know, they're not going to set, you go to a family practitioner, he's not going to set your arm if you got a broken arm. You're going to see an orthopedic doctor. And what people don't understand, and of course I've lived that world now, people should have a primary doctor. They are the ones that control your health. I'll give you an example. I'm going to use myself. I had a bladder infection. Couldn't urinate. Went to the ER. Okay? Got relieved. My family doctor, my primary care doctor, was told about it. I saw a urologist at 2 o'clock that afternoon, same afternoon. You go on your own, you might see him in 2 weeks. That's what people don't understand. Those primary doctors are very important, and they are the ones that guide you through your health problems.
Mr. Delcom?
Yeah, I'd just like to add, you know, you mentioned that 300 to 400 of these facilities have closed down. I think St. Martin Parish is blessed to have Mr. Burt, to have board members, Dr. Degater, that took the bull by the horns and not only kept the facility open, but have expanded it due to the fact that if we don't expand and make this thing operational in regards to the needs of St. Martin Parish, we will close also. And they took this thing to another level that was just unbelievable. So I just, you know, my hat's off to you, to the directors and so forth, that from a voluntary standpoint, doing this, and for the benefit of St. Martin Parish, to still have a hospital flourishing in this parish for our constituents. I just want to thank y'all, you know, from myself, the council, and St. Martin Parish
Let
government.
me say this to you. It was not easy.
I realize that.
But here's what really happened. I was there from 85 to 90, and I was invited back to the school system after 5 years. So I went back to the school system because I was the office manager at that time. A year and a half later, I'm asked to go back to the hospital. And I was told point blank by the board and by the medical staff, do what you got to do. So I basically took off and did what I thought. I owned the facility, and I want to make it work. And I had total cooperation, total, from everybody. And but what we would do though, we Tamized that facility so much that at one time we had a psych unit which was contracted out. We had a long-term care unit contracted out. We had 6 beds. But I'm making money in empty beds. That's the kind of thing that happened to us. And J.J. Burden, some of you might know him. The family has a lot of property in St. Martin Parish. He was the first one to step up and say, I can help. And it wasn't money we were looking for. We were looking for guidance and support. And that's what he did. He built an office building for us. Dr. Iguiter's office was originally owned by Lafayette General, and he leased it. He recruited Dr. Corsandi and Dr. Durham for us. And so that man there got us started. And once we got started, we just kept going and changing, and the affiliation was tremendous, and there was no money there. But we could, for example, we could buy off their purchasing group, which they paid a big price to pay on, but we could buy off of them. We saved money, you know, that type of stuff. And I could, during the affiliation years those 8 years of affiliation, I was actually an employee of Lafayette General. They felt that in the lease, if I was an employee, the bond was closer. So I actually got paid by Lafayette General for 8 years.
Wow. No other questions? Ms. Bird, I just want to tell you, my family members have used the hospital in the last couple of years. My mom, I fell and broke a hip, and my father-in-law, I have rehabilitation. We did it at the hospital. It's second to none. The people are so nice. It's like being home, you know, it's convenience of having it here. It's a small town hospital. It sounds like a small town hospital till you get there and you see how big the hospital really expanded. I do my wellness checks over there. I have diabetes and I have to do every 6 months. It's so much of a convenience, Ben sends me there, I do my blood work and you get there in the mornings, they got a line, they move them real quick, everybody goes through. Where the hospital was from the beginning to where it is now, it's made a lot of great improvements. Mr. Delcom was right, you and the board and Chester and the guys and all the ladies that work to make that business successful and make it what it is today. Look, from the bottom of our heart, thank you for everything you put into it.
Yeah, and one thing that y'all did for us, I just want to tell you, you appoint the board members. And in my 18 years of being board chairman, each time that we had someone retire, we made a request for someone to replace them. And this board has always been very cooperative. Because on a board like this, you can't have someone that doesn't understand the mission. It could be very destructive. And so we've been very fortunate. And I have Kenneth's a board member. Ms. Jacobs is a board member. Ms. Jacobs replaced her husband, who had been on the board with us. And so we've worked together, and the way we've been, this relationship with Lafayette General is a partnership. We've done some things to improve the plant, even though they use the plant. They're improving the plant. As a matter of fact, today, the only part of the old facility that's used for patient care is the ER. Outpatients new, inpatients new. They're presently working, and it should be complete within the next couple of months. When you're going to walk into the old facility, which you don't do much of, the floors, the ceiling, the walls are going to be the same as the new facility. So they're going to have this place, the whole place will be the same cosmetic.
Well, I can tell you somebody on the council, we've appointed, through your recommendation, Mr. Cedars told us, he said, listen, y'all can go and pick whoever you want. If it doesn't work out, it's on y'all. Let Burton decide who he's going to be, and if it doesn't work out, it's on him. So that's why we always went with Chester's recommendation and follow what you did. So fortunately, everything's always worked out good for everybody. So
Yeah, well, I've been
we'll
very
give you the
fortunate.
plus on that.
I've been very fortunate. You've given us people that we can work with. It can't be a rebel.
No.
You know,
Thank you for everything y'all do.
Thank you.
Item 2, Parish Administration, Public Works Project Coordinator Lil Gilbo to give a presentation on St. Martin Parish government projects.
Ms. Gilbo?
Actuality, Ms. Gilbo does contracts and does not oversee the entirety of these projects. This is in coordination with Jason Castile, our Public Works Director. And basically, all of the parish projects and so forth, I go over on a monthly basis, and we'll do that again tonight, giving y'all any information you need and any questions that may arise. If I cannot answer them, I'll get back with y'all and give a complete dissertation of what y'all are looking for. So that'll be in the president's report.
Mr. Delcom, at the same time, I understand what you're saying, but so this isn't something that's new to the council, and so we live stream all our meetings. So what we always done, and we've done in the previous administrations, is we had Heat Bobino, we had Callan, Huval, we had different project managers that came up, and all we're doing is, it's not for just the knowledge that you share with us to the council, it's for the general public, the people that are here and the people that are watching this at home, to be able to let them see where our tax dollars are spent. Just the same thing that we did with Miss Morgan Thibodeau with planning and zoning and nuisance. Same thing we did with Miss Shanae Lewis when she came. So it was basically just to get an understanding of where we are on public works. I mean, that the reason we ask is something that we do yearly. And that if Ms. Later can do, I mean, if Mr. Jason Castillo wants to come up and give a presentation on it, that would have been fine. But I think we asked for it, not to put anybody on the spot, but just to follow the procedures that we've been following since the whole time we've been on the council.
Well, in actuality, when I started my tenure here, Ms. Jean-Baptiste, who was the council chairwoman, approached me and said, hey, look, we would like to do this and bring in individuals, the departments, to give an overview and so forth. And I gladly accepted with no problem, as it does give the public and you some additional information and so forth. And I have never, it is administration as under my umbrella, and I've never denied that or anything. And again, what's being requested here it'll be given in my president's report. And looking forward to other departments coming and giving the information to the public and to the council moving forward. But in this manner here, and I thought that was relayed on to you last week when I said, well, listen, I'll give this in the president's report. So evidently there was some miscommunication. But looking forward to the future with things being brought to the council. But again, this is under administration and under my umbrella, and I feel that this is going to be brought forth within the parish president's report.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Item 3, discussion of ordinance summary number 1547OR, an ordinance reducing the extent of the servitude rights of St. Martin Parish government from 100 feet to 40 feet on the western side of that certain drainage channel designated as L-1G-2 on a portion of parcel number 18200000661. That portion commencing on the southwesternmost portion of the parcel for 200 feet in a northeastern direction.
Ms. Castillo?
Yes, on this, Mr. Anthony came as a representative of Workstream International. They actually cleared out some trees and they're making a storage area at the corner of Smead Highway 92-1 and Duchamp. And this portion, they're looking to put a detention pond to help with the overflow of the water. So myself and the canal supervisor went looking, 40 foot is perfectly fine for that section.
Okay, Ms. Jean-Baptiste, is this in your district? You good?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Item 4, consider the adoption of an ordinance amending Chapter 19, St. Martin Parish Zoning Ordinance, Appendix D, Parish Road Zoning Data Sheets of the Code of Ordinances for the St. Martin Parish Government by amending the zoning classification district on a portion of a road zoned in the original ordinance adopted on December 18, 1995, 1002 Orchard Park Drive.
I have Mr. Andrew Bobino, you want to speak on it? Yeah,
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm the person that owns the 1002 Orchard Park Drive. I was asking to transfer it from the R2 to C2, commercial use for my business. I purchased this property a little over 2 years ago. I wasn't aware that, I know the state laws have commercial zoning, but I wasn't aware that once they do a neighborhood or residential, then that commercial zone is lost. And so now it came up, and all I'm asking the council if y'all can grant me to use the commercial again for my place of business.
Okay, any questions from the council? No? Mr. Alexander?
It's really comments that I want to make. I don't have any questions for him. Number one, I represent District 7 in St. Martin Parish, and when my constituents ask me for some assistance or help, I'll go out there to help them. Now, in District 7, on Orchard Park Drive, my constituents ask that we do not switch residential to commercial parking to accommodate Mr. Babineau. They have several reasons for doing that. Number one, you had a trail ride on that. Let me back up a little bit. The Planning and Zoning Committee voted against rezoning. Now here's our Planning and Zoning Committee against rezoning, and I support the Planning and Zoning Committee, and I'm asking that this is in my district. I'm also going with the Planning and Zoning Committee. Now, number one, number two. They had a trail ride over there, and people were coming there blocking driveways. Orchard Park is not it's a narrow street like some of the others in St. Martin Parish. But they were blocking people's driveways with horse trailers. The next thing they were doing, then they're urinating in the yard or in the ditch in front of young ladies and their mother, which they had a problem with that and wish I would have a problem with that too. So I'm asking anyone in here to support us, and we do not, the people in Orchard Park do not want the rezoning change from residential to commercial. They want to, that lot that he's trying to get, they want to keep it residential. So if someone want to move there, put a house or mobile home, fine, but not use the park for a nightclub. So this is what I have to say.
Okay. Any other questions from any of the council members?
Can I redirect?
No, it's, we good.
Okay, we good.
Thank you, Mr. Bobino.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Consider me, please.
Item 5, discussion on the rezoning petition for 5958 Main Highway, St. Martinville, Louisiana, from A2 agricultural field crops range land to I3 heavy industrial restricted.
I have a number of people right here that fill out requests to speak forums. I guess we'll just start in the order that we got them. Mr. Morris, you want to come up to the podium? You have something you want to speak about?
With respect to where the bagasse pilot, nobody's really objecting to it heavily. I asked that it be proposed to go farther back, which will put it farther away from any houses. I understand, but they wouldn't have to give up farmland if they moved it further back to some wasteland back there. And if their proposals, if their dreams of getting rid of the bagasse straight out of the mill come into play, it won't be any issue with the, there's 20 acres immediately available, and there's an additional 40 acres closer toward Levere Road. It's all wasteland. And at this point, it's not arable. So just that was something, this product has been in front of our homes. And I think that everything just got completely out of hand, and it's affecting a lot more than what they expected. And their dreams, their hopes, what was contractual, from what I understand, that all of this product would be sold to Delta Biofuels. That didn't work out so well. It could conceivably in the future not work out so well again. We have spoken to the Commissioner of Agriculture, and he kind of proposed, you know, the possibility of burning if necessary, just to keep the stuff down, keep the excess down. Where they're proposing, I'm not going to object to where they are. I would like them to reconsider moving it further back. They are now selling 4 lots right up on the highway, right there for residential purposes with a very high value, much higher than I expected. So they're looking to sell it to people who have to have something, and it's going to be very restricted too. So I need to see it move farther away. I would like to, need to. That's up to you guys. But other than that, I don't have much further to say, much more to say. We don't like the way it has been handled thus far. We don't have the confidence that they are going to do exactly what they said they were going to do. The whole thing started with a maybe, and then it became a temporary. They have no plans in order yet for anything. The only plan they have is 2018, maybe 2019 for a temporary pile. They're being disingenuous with the facts that the quote to us was, we'll do better next year. We'll do better next year. I don't have faith that they're going to do what they think they're going to do. But again, I'm not going to object to where they want to rezone it or relocate it, not rezone. I don't think rezoning is necessary in particular because it's going to revert to agriculture. I think we had discussed that. But at any rate, I would prefer to see it move. It's an extra, I'd say 2,000 feet further back, and it wouldn't take a row from the crops. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Virginia?
Thank you, Mr. Tozan. We have been trying to follow the law in terms of bringing before the zoning commission the problems that bag-ass pile has presented for our neighborhood. And I know we have lots of neighbors who are present here, and there is a groundswell of support when we go to just a department store or a grocery store. People I've never seen before are telling us they appreciate that we are doing something to try to turn this bag-ass, which is an environmental concern, around. When we checked with the Department of Environmental Quality, we were told there is no plan, and there should have been a plan. But on the representation that in 2019, this was going to be a temporary storage facility, nothing was required of La Suca. As a result, there are no protections in place. You have airborne bagasse, you have water seeping down, you have no signage. Well, you have one small sign. There is no fencing. We know people on four-wheelers, because we have many, many photographs, go up on top of a 60-foot mountain of bagasse, which could slip down or get swallowed up. We know that at least on one occasion, the neighbors in our neighborhood have gone 2 weeks with a slow, smoldering fire. I cannot say specifically if it was a result of spontaneous combustion, but that is why there are protections that the Department of Environmental Quality has placed on the storage of the sugarcane waste, the solid waste. And what's most disconcerting is that when we take the proper channels and ask the governing authorities to do something to right this wrong, and there is in fact a cease and desist order, well, we allow additional time to try to work through these problems amicably, as neighbors, reasonably. And in the interim, they get a law changed that says 502 Senate bill passed in the Senate, passed in the House, and we did follow it through the legislative process on very short notice, that bagasse is now a hands-off byproduct. Local and municipal authorities have no right to intervene or to control the problems caused by a bagasse pile that's out of compliance. When you ask the LSU Ag Center, what is the plan, best practices plan in place? They explain that there was never one because it was never intended to be permanent. So now to come back and use a properly authorized cease and desist order to sort of force a change in the zoning is doing the exact opposite of what the zoning commission intended to do and what Mr. Durio intended to do in seeking judicial approval for a cease and desist order. So here we stand with a 60-foot, 8.5-acre pile of debris. And we were asking for a reasonable solution. Is it necessary to change the zoning from agricultural, which it has been from the beginning of time? It was formed by my family some time ago, to industrial. I think is not necessary in light of the 502 effort that was made, and in 60 days it will become law. If for any reason, the zoning commission, when faced with this very difficult, and I would say sensitive, important problem, chose to punt it up to you. At very least, whatever change should be limited in duration and in time, in light of the fact that they went and got the Senate and the legislature to change the law so as to take it out of the hands of all local and municipal authorities.
Okay.
And the improper transportation allows airborne spillage, the large trucks improperly use their compression brakes. There's totally inadequate signage, and if it catches fire, it is going to slowly smolder for weeks, if not months. So we're asking the parish to please get involved and help us reconcile these problems.
Thank you. Ms. Cindy Guidry?
Hello. My
Hello,
name is
Cindy.
Cindy Guidry. I have been a resident of our neighborhood since 2019. When we first moved there, it was the size of maybe a dump truck dumping a load of dirt. First of all, I have only been informed of all of this from Mr. Morris and his sister. No one has ever been informed about any of this growing the way it was. It's not like something that important is just left off the radar. Each year, it grew and grew. The moldy air, you can smell it, you can feel it in your lungs, you can hardly breathe. You have to force yourself to take a good breath. The water that comes from it, it's nasty, it stinks, it's seeping into our property, which goes into our beautiful Tesh. Highway 31 is going to become, who's going to want to ride their motorbike there? You know, my husband and I moved here to retire, wanting a nice, quiet neighborhood with great neighbors, which we achieved. But this thing just kept growing and growing. It's not healthy for anyone. They haven't covered it, put retaining walls. You just hear them night after night. They don't do it too much in the day. I don't know how these important safety protocols were ignored or walked over. Who wants these poisons in their air, in their water? Who wants their children or grandchildren playing? I had cancer before, almost to stage 4. Now, I fought that. And like I said, my husband and I retired here. We're supposed to be at the camp fishing right now, but no, look where I am. You know, so it's not a fun thing for me to be here. I'm not a public speaker. But people have always told me, watch out, when she starts crying, you better clear the room. So I don't want to cry, because then that means I'm really mad, which I am already. But what gives people the right to come in and to poison people just because if they don't have enough customers for the bagasse, just don't grow as much cane. Stop with your pockets being so deep so you can keep your people that love this area safe and healthy. This is not a good way to be a steward to your land, to your people, and to your grandchildren. This is not something you want to pass on. Anyway, if anyone thinks this is okay, they should immediately move their whole family and move right next door to it. Put your house so all the nasty juice can come right through your garden, because that's what we're doing right now. It's a sad thing. My husband's not here, and we always said we would live in this house until the coroner came for us. Well, the coroner came for him, but I think that if he knew what I was going through right now, he would not want me in this poison pit, this Mount Poison I have so unaffectionately started calling it, because it's going to kill me and my neighbors and everyone else up and down the Teche, because eventually all those nasties are going to get there. We have people paddling up and down the Teche. People swim. It's just a beautiful place, and I don't want to see it ruined, and I don't want to see all of our people die because of it. There's a way to tend to this stuff, and it's not putting it right next to a major highway on top of your neighbors, because there's always a crust coming from that pile across the way. It's a crust.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm sorry to take up so much of your time, but I've said my piece. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gidger. Mr. Prosper.
Good afternoon. Just to start off with, there was some discussion at the last meeting, I don't know if you heard it or not, about the town of Thibodaux and how the town of Thibodaux embraced the bagasse and embraced everything about the mill and embraced and said how great of a thing it was, and no one over there in the whole town complained about it, and everything was great. So I decided to take a ride to Thibodaux. And in doing that, I noticed it's totally different from what we have. The pile of bagasse in Thibodaux at the mill is hidden from the mill on a conveyor belt that's pretty big, but it's definitely away from all homes, houses, developments, everything else. But there is a smaller spot of 30 acre probably of bagasse that's sitting right behind the neighborhood. The property is contiguous to the sugar mill property, so the neighbors there don't even see the bagasse being moved. The bagasse is probably no higher than 10 feet, but it's spread out of 30 acres. Neighbors have no problem at all with it. I agree. I don't disagree with that. It looks like there's a little retention area around it. The water gets picked up and brought to a retention pond. Flew a drone over it. Looks pretty good. It's got some grass growing on the sides. You can't get dust accumulation. The wind can blow. It's not going to blow on the neighbors. That neighborhood was a Horton neighborhood, D.H. Horton neighborhood, and was built after the bagasse was put there. I don't disagree with that. I think it was done in a way that it protects that neighborhood, it protects the people around it, and whatever else. So there was some truth to that. But there is a major bagasse pile on the property, but it's completely behind the mill and away from all neighborhoods and kind of secluded, like this one probably should be. Because I don't know if you've noticed a map, or if anyone of you studied a map of that whole area, but if you take a map and you enlarge it to about 8 miles, there's a hell of a lot of property. A lot of property. I'm talking thousands and thousands of acres that you would never have to take this product on a road, on a highway, or anything like that. Besides the point, they say, well, it's not our property. Well, you know what? I would think that also our problem is 30–40% of this product is coming from another parish, way far up north. We're having to eat it. We're having to taste it, we're having to breathe it. Because people are making a profit on it. And look, I get it. I enjoy making profits, and if they relaxed all the rules for me, I could probably make more money too. But they don't do that for regular people. They do that for farmers. And I get that. That's something down the road that we're going to attend to. In recent meetings with couple of council members, some of the neighbors, there's a plan that seems to be somewhat developing. There again, like Mr. Morris says, it's kind of written on ice right now. Can't really make a decision until this plan really comes together. I would like to see the plan come together so we can see what the plan is, to embrace it. Because I would like them to find a place for it too. Because no one wants the mill to close, none of us. Of course, the farmers don't want the mill to close. And of course, the mill will never close because of that. We all know that. I mean, how silly is that? But they came up here 2 weeks ago or a week ago and claimed that if they had to move the bagasse pile, the mill would close. Come on. I think everybody over here in this room is smarter than that. So, I mean, that pretty much said things that I don't know how you running such a situation or running a company of this size when you're going to come up with some kind of BS like that. I just don't think it's right. But nevertheless, I think this plan needs to come into place, location, best management practices, all of that. And I think the community will get behind it. I really do. I think the community just wants some relief from what's going on right now. I understand. Do they really have to cover the loads? One of the people at the mill came up here and said how they were going to cover the loads really, really well. Then the attorney came up right after and said, we don't really need to cover the loads. So, I mean, what are they going to do? I know I was lied to 2 or 3 times already. And I've seen some additional lies just recently. There's a reason we couldn't move the pile this year because we can't build a road. Well, we all know we can build a road pretty quick. Then it became because a farmer had his cane on the property. Well, it makes a whole lot more sense to me. If you just tell us the truth, if you tell these people in this community the truth, they will stand behind you. I think they will, 100%. But best management practices needs to come to play. I spoke to the DEQ and Ag representative on May the 15th, just recently. Still nothing. Still nothing. We have a temporary pile that's out of compliance, that there's no best management practices put in place. So there again, can't really commit to it, but all the things that we discussed seem to be coming into play or getting a lot better. I just would like something a little bit more stringent, something we can hold our teeth to, and then hopefully we can get back together and hug and sing a song. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Prosper. Mr. Alexander, you have a question?
I had one, but she answered my question when she came up there.
Okay.
But I'd like to ask him a question, brother.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you a question, but you answered my question. That's the question I really wanted to ask. Right? Thank you. You did a good job. What I wanted to find out is, number one, how long's the mill in St. John been operating?
I can't answer that. I don't.
Can't answer. Okay, number two, I know I worked there, I think I was about 16, 17, 18 years old. And so my question to you is, why you don't have enough room over there or spaces or land for the bagasse?
That's a very good question. I wish you would ask that, but I'm not with the mill. I'm a landowner.
Okay.
That's opposing where the location is now. But that's a very good question. I wish you would ask that later, because the answer would be yes, they do. They just don't own it.
They do, but they don't own it.
Yeah.
So who owns it?
Well, that's another good question. That's all some great questions. I wish you would ask that later.
Okay,
But that's yeah. That's I know, but yeah.
I'm fine with you saying. I rest my case.
Because putting it in a truck causes another issue, and I'm sure it costs money. It costs money to move it. So when you move it within your own property, you don't have to It don't have to go all over the street, don't have to go in the air and whatnot. And this stuff is so fine, it moves. It moves pretty, and especially when the power is so high, it moves far. I'm 2,000 feet back from the property, and I have it all around my items outside my house. No problem. There's people that are a lot closer than me, so I'm sure they're getting it really bad. So, and that I ask people if they want to talk, but they know that we have a plan coming. So there's a lot of people here that people that didn't come, and people that are here that they don't want to talk, they want to see what the plan is because they think they can live with the plan.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you, Ms. Prosper.
Appreciate it.
If I may respond to your question, the Laver St. John companies are family-owned businesses that were founded in the early 1900s, engaged in the operation and management of the raw land holdings and sugarcane. The companies own undeveloped agricultural lands in conjunction with a number of commercial and industrial buildings. In fact, when you look at La Suca, now it's kind of sleight of hand because St. John Laver is who you work for, and that's what I call it, the Laver
That's what I call it,
plantation.
too.
Well, then the farmers created and bought out Laver, I think, and have now something called La Suca. And La Suca is made up of all the farmers that use the mill to process their sugar. When you look at La Suca's website, it clearly says there are two 75-foot by 50 feet metal buildings that houses their bagasse. There is absolutely no mention of
Virginia, I don't want to cut you off, but I think we answered this question.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Item 6, consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing and directing the parish president to execute for and on behalf of the St. Martin Parish government a certificate of substantial completion pertaining to the Cypress Island Jodag Drainage System Maintenance Project, Phase 2, St. Martin Parish, Louisiana.
Ms. Adelphia?
Basically, this project is complete. They're going through some punch list items as we speak. With all the inundation of rain that we had over the last couple of weeks, with the water rising in the Jodag, we're waiting for the water to go down for them to complete the process. It goes from Leeds Champagne Road in Cypress Island all the way to Highway 96 by the old sheriff's facility. The project was a success. We dragged and cut trees to be able to access the coulee, the canal, to keep it open for drainage purposes. So for all intents and purposes, we're in the process of the Phase 2 completion, and that will be completed as soon as the water goes down.
Thank you.
Item 7, consider the adoption of a resolution ratifying Parish President Pete Delcom's appointment of Stacy Blanchard Bouquet as the Parish Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness Director.
Is she here? No, she's not here. You can just go.
Excuse me. We do appoint this Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness Director. The sheriff has reorganized some of his department, one of which was this, Mr. Terry Guidry, which I have very high esteem. He has helped us and helped me through the emergencies that have occurred over the last couple of years, inundation of water, snow, any time that we had an emergency situation, hurricanes, he was on top of it. Miss Stacy was under Mr. Terry, and I've worked hand in hand with her. And I'm looking forward to continued success with Miss Stacy and the Sheriff's Department in regards to the emergency situations of the parish.
Ms. Ortiz, you have something?
Yes, Mr. Delcom, would it be possible, I don't remember if we met her or not, could she be here for the next meeting just to kind of introduce herself?
We rearranged some. She's going to be here for the next meeting.
Okay.
Item 8, consider the adoption of a resolution appointing the Tesh News as the official journal.
This is done annually.
9, consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to enter into an intergovernmental agreement on behalf of St. Martin Parish government with St. Mary Levy District to share in the costs and obligations associated with the operation and maintenance, repair, rehabilitation, and replacement of the Bayou Chien flood protection structure.
Mr. Delcom?
There's a control structure that was built. Funded by state monies and CPRA. And basically, this structure is located in St. Mary Parish, and it stops the backwater flow of conditions that affect Lower St. Martin, Iberville, Terrebonne, St. Mary, and Assumption parishes. So what CPRA did said, we will come in, it's an $85 million structure. They came in and built the structure and then said, we will turn this over to the parishes that it affects. So St. Mary was the applicant and the origination participant in this. So they have come back to the 5 parishes that it involves, one of which is St. Martin Parish. I was not particularly pleased with the intergovernmental agreement that they had put forward, in that St. Martin Parish was just an advisory position in this. And of course, they're asking us to fund our portion, which I have no problem with, because it does. When last year it was closed at the right time, and it did alter and stop the floodwaters from the south coming north, and it would have affected Lower St. Martin Parish, Stevensville, and it did work, and it does work. And I really believe that we do need to fund our fair share. I was not particularly, again, impressed with our position as an advisory member, not having any say-so in the vote itself. So I spoke to a number of parish councilmen and explaining the situation to where we set up an IGA, an intergovernmental agreement, in which we agreed to fund our fair share, which is $75,000 a year, $22,000 of which would go into the annual maintenance of the structure, our share, and the residual of that going into an escrow account. Every 10 to 12 years, they would probably need some major innovation and major construction on the control structure itself. So I had no problem with the $75,000. And the intergovernmental agreement, which was sent to you, basically says we will pay our fair share, but we're not going to sign a contract to this, of which we can then opt out at any time. What happens is, to use some specific numbers, the Corps of Engineers came up with a number of a flood elevation of 7 in Morgan City, at which time the control structure could be closed. If we wait until the number 7 occurs in Morgan City, we are flooded in Stevensville, doing us no good. If it's closed, if it starts to close at 5 to 6, it does work. However, they said, well, we got to go by the Corps, or there's a clause that says, or any other necessary procedures that we would undertake in an emergency situation. But it never directly put a number in which they're going to close it. They said they're going to close it between 5 and 6, but there's nothing in writing. And if they can't hold to it, we would be paying portions of our share, and Stevensville would not be taken care of in a proper manner. So what you have before you is an intergovernmental agreement that I am proposing we sign with the St. Mary Levy District, in which we pay our fair share of $75,000 a year, with the pretense that as long as they hold true to their word and close it between 4.5 to 6, and it takes care of Stevensville, we will continue paying that, but we can get out of this agreement at any time. We're not locked into an agreement. Any
Thank you.
questions?
Thank you.
Item 10, consider the adoption of a resolution authorizing Parish President Pete Delcom to execute the administrative plan change in the amount of $44,000 increase for the Cypress Island Joe Dig Drainage System Maintenance Project, Phase 2, by Down South Construction Services, LLC.
Mr. Delcom?
We discussed the Joe Dagan number 6, in which we are in the process of doing the completion, executing that. This is an internal change order. There was $15,000 needed to do some relocation of machinery and so forth during the course of the project. There was another $30,000 in fencing that needed to be put into the project. Basically, we had budgeted $1.7 million and we've spent about 1.3, so we were about $400,000 within budget. So the $44,000 that we are internally requesting this, the administration of a resolution is well within the budget, and the project is a success. And my recommendation is that we sign off and move forward.
Mr. Louvier?
Mr. Delcom, I just have one question. That the fence basically, is that for that's the cow, where the cows were? We trying to put that barbed wire fence back up, or barbed wire, however you want to say it?
Yes, Mr. Dale Delahousie, when you, the bridge at the Cypress Island, going back all the way back into the project, there and a couple of other areas in which the fencing had to be taken down to be able to take care of the project. So the fencing was taken down and then reconstructed, as he did have cattle and other entities within that property that needed to be secured.
All right.
Item 11, consider appointments, reappointments to various committees.
That should have been sent to you.
12, Parish President's Report.
Yes, as I said before, number 2, a number of projects. We have the Cypress Bayou Coulee La Salle. We're still waiting on the Corps of Engineers permit. I know there were questions earlier as to why this is taking so long. It is the Corps of Engineers, and therefore we have no say-so over their timing of permitting. Alcide Bonac Canal Road Drainage Project, again, waiting on the Corps of Engineers permit. There was an additional benefit cost analysis that was done due to the drainage around the water plant that has been completed and also sent up the upstream for approval with the Corps of Engineers. Petroleum Parkway, we are well underway with the Petroleum Parkway. They're on schedule. They have completed pouring basically one half. They are in the process of completing the drainage on the other side, and they will start with the concrete, putting down concrete in that area. Everything to date, we are working with the participants and the commercial residents of the park. It was kind of touch and go. It is a distraction and discomfort because these are businesses trying to make money. We have not impeded or stopped the progression of their ability to do their work. And we're working hand in hand to where we give them, through the engineering corporation, fence to maker, we give these corporations ample time to know what's coming, what we're going to do. And in the event there's any impact on their particular company, we try and keep it to a minimum, but always giving them total access to their properties. Joe Day Canal, we just talked about this. We're in substantial completion. Road project, sales tax number 1, road project improvements. We have completed Ches Broussard, Burden Olivier, Boone Lassang. Bayou Fusilier, the milling has started. After Bayou Fusilier, the next roads to be starting will be Antelope Guidry Road, Bodo Road, and Walter Drive. Again, we are working from the north and coming down south We are on schedule with the projection, and we should have completion of this in the allotted contract time. Henderson Control Structure, substantial completion has been allowed, and we're in the 45-day lien period. That was a very successful project. LA 96 Detour Road, Catahoula-Cooley. Yesterday, the road was reopened. The temporary road, we're waiting for this weather to pass through. We will be taking out the temporary road that Ms. Sis Bonas so generously allowed us to use portions of her yard to be able to do the temporary road. As soon as the rain subsides, we'll be going in there and taking that out. Again, the box culvert has been inclusively put in, and waiting on the addition of Highway 96 to be completed. There was an issue with the water line that crosses under that canal. We are in the process of, with Sellers and Associates, the engineer, taking care of that. We're going to have to rebore and put the water line a little bit deeper, but that's in the process of, we should have no problems with that. Water consolidation project. McDade Engineering is over wells number 1. That should be completed within 4 weeks. Water well number 2 should be completed within 8 weeks, 2 months after that. The projected completion of all of these wells, number 1 and 2, we're looking August. So September would be the earliest that these 2 wells would be back into operation. On the new well that we're presently digging, the casing has been put into place, and they started the digging of the test well this week, and it's going to take about a month for that to be completed. The jail roof, there will be a bid opening on May 27th. We have a projected budget of $600,000 on the jail roof. Jail sewage. As you know, a couple of months ago, they had a major break in a sewer line, disposing sewer within the jail. We took care of that. The emergency repairs on that was about $25,000. We looked at proactively trying to do something with the entire sewer line that goes through those offices, taking each office and prioritizing it. There's a computer room. There is a council room. There are certain rooms, and we are looking to, with time, go through and take care and change all of that piping so that we don't have the same problem that we had 2 months ago with sewer coming down on individuals and totally disrupting the sheriff's department. We have budgeted projection of $11,000 to $15,000 on that. City of St. Martinville, they had major issues in their lift station down by the bayou. A lot of the issues were caused by all of the debris that is put into the sewer line from the jail. This has been an ongoing problem for years. It was a $125,000 total bill for the City of St. Martinville. After investigation, a portion of that, I would think about half of that, would have been caused by the jail. I think as participants and as the Parish of St. Martin and as our oversight of the jail itself, we should look into paying our fair share of the city's expense in regards to what happened at that lift station. It has been totally revamped, pumps changed, sewer lines changed, valves changed, and there should be no complications in regards to that moving forward. In regards to the addition or the continuation of our problem with the debris coming from the jail, we talked about, and I have gotten some budgetary numbers to build a catch basin facility, hydraulically lifting to be able to probably once or twice a week to be able to collect the debris that's coming from the jail, throw it into a dumpster to where it never gets to the lift station so that we will never have this problem again. You're looking at about $80,000 for the catch basin. You're looking at another, we have electrical We have servitudes that we need to take care of, other expenditures. So we've budgeted 125. We will need to actively look at the $50,000 for the city of St. Martinville and the building of that catch basin and see where we could possibly get funding to take care of those issues. Yes, ma'am.
So the 50,000 for the city's lift station, that's our 50% share? Are you talking
The
about?
city of St. The lift station, yes, ma'am. A lot of the problem that occurred there was because of the jail, of which we are the active overseer of that jail. So a lot of the expense that the city incurred was directly affected by the jail. To be able to put a direct number as to you or me or pointing fingers or so forth, I talked to the mayor and we felt that these numbers were fair, okay? And,
Okay.
I think it is the right thing to do to take care of our fair share because we do oversee the jail and all things that are directed to that.
Oh, see, we own it.
The catch basin, the basin would be something that would be constructed in that sewer line.
Yeah.
To where when that comes in, it would collect all of this trash prior to going into the lift station to where we're going to stop that problem for future use.
Okay. Oh,
Narcisse.
I'm sorry, that catch basin is gonna cost 125?
The basin, the
Approximately.
catch basin itself is gonna cost about 80.
About 80.
And then we have electrical. The catch basin itself would need to be constructed. I have not gotten a price on that. I would think about another 10 servitudes and so forth. I'm looking at about 100. I'm trying to budget 125 in the event that we get into this project and there's unforeseen expenses that can be taken care of without having to come back and require additional funding.
so these are all estimated figures.
These are just budgetary numbers. Yes, ma'am. St. Martin Parish Annex Building, the pre-construction meeting is pending. We're getting the contracts in line. Once the contracts are signed, we can set up the pre-construction meeting and see if we can get this project started. Any questions?
Council discussion or comment?
District 1?
I just want to make a comment on the Highway 96 culvert, that the job is complete and they could be taken off the temporary road. The drainage on the coulee from basically the church all the way to the Calaveras Cove area has not been addressed yet and will be addressed in the future. So some light flooding and the same drainage issues that we had will continue. Just, this doesn't fix the problem. So I just wanted everybody to know that Mr. Delcom would say the same, but it's coming. It's just not there yet.
Well, and we had postponed, we were going to do the
Right.
project in two, as we had described before. We got word today that the piping and the structure under the commercial in Catahoula Cove, what's the name of it? Tracy Supply. That can stay. We don't have to dig that up. It's not going to have a major. The other issue that we're going to have if we start the project now, all of those, the culverts that would be taken out, it's all cane fields. And those farmers use that during grinding. This would be in the heart of grinding, and we can't shut them down and these headlands down. So we'll push everything back to where we'll get everything contracted the fourth quarter to where everything can start in the first quarter of next year, to where there'll be no complications with the farmers. Tracy Supply is out of the way, so I don't see any problem with this project.
Thank you.
District 2?
Nothing's changed. We talked about the road projects, so everything is moving along in District 2.
District 3?
Yes, I just have a comment. reverting back, just a comment on item 5 that we discussed, and this is no perfect time, but now that we have majority of the council, because a bunch of us been meeting not to have majority, and we've met with different individuals in regards to item number 5. So I just want to let you guys know, as a whole, that the community is depending on us to come up with a plan. So if you're not familiar of what's going on, the facts of what's going on, I do urge you to get the facts that's going on and not just get one-sided. It's really not a story, it's a history. So I just feel that if we're sitting up here, we need to come up with a plan that I would hope would satisfy all parties. And just to coincide with that, Parish President just mentioned on something that we're not going to do right at that moment because it's going to impact the farmers and grinding is going to start. So it shows how we're such a good support of our farmers and we appreciate them because we're not going to do something that's going to impact what they do. So what I'm saying is that through it all, we need to be good neighbors on all sides, not one side. So if you're not familiar with what's going on in District 2, and not District 2, in District 4, a little part of District 4, and District 3, please get the information and don't just, it would really baffle me if you just vote and not know what's going on. Thank you very much.
District 4?
To see Jodag Phase 2 is almost complete. It'd be nice when that's all done. Other than that, all good.
District 5 is good. District 6?
Not here.
Not here. District 7?
I have one question. Mr. Delcom,
Yes, sir.
reference to the intergovernmental agreement on behalf of St. Martin Parish government with St. Mary Levy District to share in the costs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is Stevensville going to benefit out of this?
Oh, definitely, sir.
Okay.
Definitely. It has benefited last year. They started closing the control structure at 4.5 as opposed to 7. And what happens is the backwater, the water's coming down the Bayou Shen and so forth. It doesn't allow the water from the Gulf under certain conditions to back that water in. And that's the problem. It's not so much the water's coming down from north to south, it's the backwaters of Bayou Shen. And when they close this control structure, it's almost 2 football fields long. This thing is huge. You can go on a website, you can see exactly, Mr. Raymond took a tour out there, and it actually closes down this bayou to where the water cannot recede and push water back up north. And it does work. And because of that, it will save thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars of flooding in Stevensville. So I think the money is very well spent if the control structure is closed according to our needs. And this is what that intergovernmental agreement will do.
Is it possible you could get 1 or 2 of them from Stevensville to come and address us here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What I'll do, I'll get you the link, the website, and we can put it on display, and that way you can see the actuality of how this thing works. And it's a major engineering feat for them to do this in that capacity. But yes, sir, we can definitely do that.
Thank you.
District 8? District 9?
Yeah, is my mic on? I want to bring, before I get into this, I just want to tell you, Jason, this is in no way picking on you. Jason has been very, very answering all my phone calls and giving me updates almost daily. I'm sure I've aggravated him. I have a little bit of concerns with the roads projects, not directed at the administration, about the speed that they're going. And I understand how everything, we started late last year, later than what we thought. We started in December, but I understand that the crew that's doing the road projects is also doing state projects, and we keep getting delayed. And it's just that I can't speak for everybody, but I know me personally, getting a lot of constituent complaints about, well, I thought we were fixing this road. I thought we were fixing it. I got 2 text messages this morning. Hey, what's the deal? Are you lying to us? Like, it's getting not fun to defend why we're not completing roads. So I just did a little research to see, last year at this time, on May the 6th, we issued a certificate of substantial completion for the road project. So we were done virtually. So I kind of looked into it. I mean, if you look at the parish president's report, we're doing one a month. I mean, Ches Broussard was done on 4/8. We were gonna go to Bayou Fusilier next. 5/19, we started today. And I know Jason says, well, they're doing state roads, they're doing state roads. I don't know how it works, but I tend to believe that if they're biting off more than they can chew, then maybe we need to look at a different route of getting the roads complete, because it's just, we're sharing time. The other thing is, I know you mentioned that you thought we were gonna be in the contractual time. So I did a little research, and the contract says that we have 120 days to issue the certificate of substantial completion. So if you do December 4th when we sign, today's the 114th working day. So again, not directing it at your administration, I'm just confused. Are we anticipating that they're gonna come to us and ask for an extension on the project? Because I'm not too fired up about voting for that, I'm telling you that right now.
I spoke with the contractor, and once again, yeah, it is kind of, I get the same phone calls. Pretty sure everybody on this panel does. They still in a contract. Just because it's in the contract days, 165, don't mean they're getting charged. When they start working again, the contract kicks in. They're gonna be done within the contract days time. Once they get back on this project, they're not leaving. That's what they're trying to do. I know it's the same story every time with any contractor. If they have other projects they can finish, small projects that they have to, they go do. Once they come back on Bayou Fusilier, they don't plan on leaving until all 15 roads are done.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I wasn't being unreasonable. So like I looked, say we were done on May 6th. You could say we did 3 roads. One of them was 0.07 miles.
Yeah.
So we did 2 significant roads, and we made the 19th today. I think we're working at a snail's pace.
They're gonna pay. Everything's gonna go faster now. You have Bayou Fusilier's 3.9 miles, I want to say, or 2.9, and one in Chris's district. Cormier is another long road. Every other road in the project are less than a mile, mile and a half.
Okay.
So it's gonna pick up speed as they go on because we have a plan coming forward.
So we issue them a certain amount of days to complete the project.
Mm-hmm.
So if they stop working on the project, they go work on something else, they stop right there and then start back and they come back?
It depends on if they pulled
Is
off.
that how the contract was structured?
No,
So right now, from the day they started, they got X amount of days to complete the project and that's it.
Yes.
If you leave to go somewhere else, your days don't stop and start back when you come back.
there's not gonna be an extension
Right.
on their project.
Okay.
It will be completed in time.
And if it's not, and then in the contract, I'm sure there was some.
There is a,
It says-
Liquidated damages.
Right.
On a daily rate, you get a liquidated damage rate, and that is assessed on top of, charged to the contractor for the number of days that they go over the contract date. So it puts some fire into them to where if you want to go jump on another job, go jump on it, but you come to your contract time and you go over that contract time, you're going to be assessed liquidated damages. Now, I've always been pretty lenient. However, if they put themselves in this position, I have no problem in taking that contract and pushing forward with the liquidated damage as such, because that's what it's there for.
I feel we should. I mean, and again, like I said,
No.
Jason's been communicating with me, but I know you said you have a meeting every Wednesday morning with.
We have a phone.
And I can tell you, I remember the day we talked, because we talk a lot,
Yeah.
on 4/8, when you said, okay, we finished Ches Broussard Road, and they should be on the next one next week. That was on April the 8th, and today's 5/19. We ain't
They
done
went
the
to
road.
Boone Lassane.
Okay, well, that's a mulch.
But well, it's a mulch, but it's a reconstruction.
Okay.
So that takes different crews. So they could be back on Bayou Fusilier. They should have started today. I didn't get checked with them because I was running around the other side of the parish.
Yeah.
But I will verify. But they will finish in the contract within the time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Completed constituents work order per request forms for April 2026 were given to you. Reports, statements of revenues and expenditures and balance sheet for April 2026 were also given to you.
We have an extension this evening. Can I get a motion and a second to extend the agenda for executive session?
Hold on, I need to change the attendance
Okay.
before we vote. Okay.
We have an extension this evening. Can I get a motion and a second to extend the agenda for executive session? I have a motion by Mr. Clay, second by Mr. Poirier. Call for the vote.
Council to enter executive session to discuss the following litigation. St. Martin Parish Government versus Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government, bearing number 91813F of the docket of the 16th Judicial District Court in and for St. Martin Parish, Louisiana.
I need a motion and a second to enter executive session. I have a motion by Ms. Jean-Baptiste, second by Mr. Poirier. Call for the vote. Yeah.
Okay.
Ready? Mr. Dario, you want to explain?
Okay, so right before we broke for the executive session, right before the vote, we had a council member that excused themselves for a personal needs break. So just to make sure everything's kosher, we're gonna redo. I don't know why he left. That's my assumption. But just to make sure everything's kosher, I think we should revote whether to extend the agenda and to go into executive session. Since he is present, we didn't know at the time if he left for good, but he ended up coming back. So just to make sure we're good to go, we'll go ahead and I'll ask y'all to revote.
All right, I need a,
We'll have the clerk read the extension.
So, yes, well, let's get a motion and a second to extend first.
I need a motion and a second to extend the agenda for executive session. I have a motion by Mr. Clay, second by Mr. Louvier. Call for the vote.
Council to enter executive session to discuss the following litigation: St. Martin Parish Government versus Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government, bearing number 91813F of the docket of the 16th Judicial District Court in and for St. Martin Parish, Louisiana.
I need a motion and a second to enter executive session. You hear, Hoyt? I got a motion by Mr. Clay. Nobody in here. Not a council member. Second by Ms. Joe Baptiste. Call for the vote.
All right.
All right, let's try this again.
Give me 1 second.
Because I'm going to.
All right. Take your time.
Don't worry about it. I mean, look.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to exit the executive session. I have a motion by Mr. Cleary, second by Mr. Poirier. Call for the vote. Mr. Dury, you want to give us an update on what was discussed in the executive session?
Yes, the council made an executive session concerning the Spalding Banks litigation as referenced in the agenda item. Council and the parish president had a good discussion on strategy moving forward, and a definite plan on how to move forward. And hopefully soon they could share some good news and they look forward to that.
No
Thank you.
further- Thank you. No further discussion. Meeting is adjourned.